Welcome to the third season of the Ashlars podcast. We are thrilled about our progress and, more importantly, grateful for your support and encouragement. We are going in strong with ever more energy and passion into the third season of our humble little initiative. That is, to show the true light of Freemasonry by being India's first and only podcast on Freemasonry. In this season, we continue to highlight papers by Indian Masons and showcase the wealth of Masonic knowledge and wisdom in India. Additionally, we will also shine some light on various other degrees beyond the craft, with a view to help Masons discover the true joy of being a Mason and expand their horizons. As a disclaimer, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely of the participants and do not represent any official positions, including those of any Grand Lords or constituents thereof. Best efforts have been made to keep the conversation on the level for brethren and non-Masons alike. Hello and welcome folks to another episode of The Ashlars. This is Season 3, Episode 7. Now we started off this season by saying that we will be going beyond the usual and we'll talk about what more is there in Freemasonry. If you're a young Freemason, if you're someone contemplating about joining Freemasonry, this is the episode that will help you understand what more does Freemasonry have to offer you. So with that, folks, I want to open this episode with a very important line that I was thinking about. And the line goes as such. Knowledge is something that is the foundation to elevate oneself. The more you know, the more you can do, the higher you can think. Pursue it. Don't let anything or anyone curtail you in that pursuit. So with that as a baseline and foundation of what we're trying to do here, I would now hand it over to Rinesh to expand on this a little more. I've given the sneak preview. Rinesh gives you the full picture. Over to you, Rinesh.
Hey, thanks a lot, Shishir. And I kind of like that point. I think right from the time when we have obviously joined school, or rather in our work culture, wherever it is, we have been hearing this. This is the gyan which everybody gives us. That, it's always good to learn. It's always good to learn. Till we don't start it. And the moment we start it, right, we kind of think, is it a little too much? Is it enough? How else is it going to be? And I love that somebody had actually asked me very nicely once, by me learning this, how is it helping me? And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You are literally coming to, I am spending my time, I'm spending my effort in these things. And then what do I get out of this in return? And by the way, this was asked by one of a friend of mine who, when he came to know that I joined Freemasonry, he was like, what do you get in return? And it seriously made me contemplate, what do I get in return? There are so many things which I get in return, which I'm not able to comprehend, or rather say it in a proper list. I get this, I get this. No, it's not that easy. It's way beyond.
Like in leadership, especially in corporate, you will hear this thing, the WIFM. What's in it for me? Especially when we talk about going through transformations. What's in it for me? Why should I go through this transformation?
Why should I go through it?
Yep.
See, but you know what, Shishir, the best part is, in our work, right, in our workplace, we somehow always think about, if I do this, I'll get promotions.
Yeah. That's a very simplistic way to think about it.
Exactly. I'll get promotions. I might get more money. Everything is there. But when it comes to Freemasonry, that's not the case, right?
Yeah.
In Freemasonry, it's very straightforward. And that's why it's very difficult sometimes to actually explain to a youngster that give time for Freemasonry. Right. And Freemasonry will give back those things. And we are an eager generation. We do not want to just sit back, relax, and try to think about meditation. Even if we know meditation helps us, we still would like to do it. Somebody tells us that, by meditating, by doing yoga, by doing these exercises, it's going to help you in the long run. Oh my goodness, I just pop a pill right now and it'll just be better.
Ain't got no time for that, bro.
Exactly, right? And that's the point. When it comes to Freemasonry, it's difficult sometimes to explain that to somebody. But then there comes a time when people come to us and ask us, Rinesh, You asked me about second degree, and I was kind of explaining certain things to you, and then the degree work was actually done in front of me. So, I became an entered apprentice, I became a fellow craft, I became a master mason. And I also realized that there are certain places where I'm not supposed to be. Like, for example, if a master mason's degree work is going and I'm an entered apprentice, I have to step out because obviously my turn has not come yet. So they understand that. But then the best question comes out, which scares me, but also excites me, which is, what now? After
Or what
master masons
next?
all
What
come and
more?
ask us, what now? What
Hmm.
more? Because, sorry, I'm really sorry for the bad throat today. So they come and ask us, Dinesh, I've completed master masonry. The next meeting, I just sat there. I was just observing. But what else do I do? I get to see you guys talking about some circular, some business perspective, some business requirements, which is basically like, okay, we are doing this charity, or maybe we are doing this activity for this month or next month. Those are the things. And in case if there is a candidate, then that person is able to see that. But then what more? And I always tell them, give it time. And this is one which obviously for my listeners or for our listeners, I always want to point out. Give time for Freemasonry. Especially you being a master mason, right? You are at that point wherein you were what should I say? You were like, best part of it was that from 1 month or from 1 to 2 months or from between 2 to 3 months, you were able to move from one degree to the other. Yeah, it's good, but it might not happen for everybody. Let's say, for example, a lodge. And I know, Shishir, in your lodge, you have a lot of folks who are actually waiting in queue sometimes, especially because, well, good. The best part is that it's a weekend lodge, right? So
Yeah.
everybody is like, oh, Saturday,
I see
I would
huge
like to
lodge as well. So many people.
exactly 100 plus brethren,
Yeah.
right? And those, like, what happens is like, okay, I'm an entered apprentice today, but I might not become a fellow craft next month or the
Yeah.
month after that. I might have to wait for 3 months. That kind of gives them a bit of a patience. They kind of allows them to understand. But then when they become master mason, they come with the best question: what next?
Yeah.
And in most cases, what do we tell them? Take part. But
Hmm.
imagine, what do they take part in? Do they understand the whole crux of Freemasonry? We still have to mold them to make them understand why a warden is required, why a deacon is required, why there is an inner guard, why do I actually have to stand in this manner only? Why can't I
Hmm.
just be relaxed? Why can't I cross my feet and sit in the lodge?
Hmm.
Whereas everybody like, please sit straight, because this is literally a temple where we are talking about making sure our body, mind, and soul are in sync.
Yeah.
And that won't happen with me just relaxing in a bit, but we have to make sure that we are to the point. But this is a skill, or rather, this is a process which takes years and years of practice. Listeners, I can guarantee you, Shishir and I have heard this enough number of times, and with many of the senior masons also who have completed 25 years, 35 years, and 40 years in Freemasonry, and they say, "Today I learned something new." And
Hmm.
imagine that journey of education for you in Freemasonry is everlasting. But again, youngsters like us sometimes always have that doubt. The millennials, I would say, or the Gen Zs, which were there, I don't know, whatever next is going to come. We
Gen
are the folks who
Alpha.
are Gen Alpha, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
now. So these are the folks who are going to come up and say, yeah, but what do I do more? Now, obviously, you can incorporate them into most of the other stuff, but still that edge is going to be there. And that's where the concept or the storyline expands. You and I have been hearing about this, that what is the story of Freemasonry? The story which we explain in Freemasonry. The craft degree talks about the building of the King Solomon's temple, the first temple which was built in Jerusalem.
The
We talk about that,
foundation.
the foundation.
Yep.
That's what is there in this degree. The idea is we are talking about that temple to explain how in that olden time many folks came together from different places, people who used to follow different customs and traditions, and they came together to create a temple, to create a building. And that was obviously with that knowledge from that era, stonemasons era, right? Like
Right.
making sure square is correct, this is correct, that is correct. Every
Hmm.
Phoenicians, they don't even believe in the same concept and the same religion. They still would like to do that. Now that is the interesting part of it. And in that interesting part is where we are expanding. So obviously there are more orders, there are more degrees, which are I won't say degrees, there are more orders which are there, which expands on that knowledge. Now you will ask, why is that required?
So can I just bring in one dimension to this? Now, we spoke about craft degrees as being foundational, right? There are 3 degrees in the craft: first, second, and third. Now, folks, I want to just make this relatable to you guys in a slightly, the only thing coming to my mind is a fractal design. The more you keep zooming into it, the more it shows itself repeating, right? It's like never ending, keep on zooming. It's like a trip. So think of it like this. You are now being an Indian podcast, and we are trying to, showcase the Indian side of Freemasonry. Just imagine you're in New Delhi. All right. It's a landlocked city. There are no oceans, seas anywhere close to it. Standing in New Delhi, you will see several streets, roads all over the place. The more you go into those, the more you find nuances. One street is completely different from the next, and some streets might be exactly the same as the previous one. Think of craft masonry, something like that, right? There is enough to just go headlong rabbit hole into this craft Freemasonry, into every single degree. There is ample for you to look into it. You can write books and still not be over with it, right? But what if I told you, you travel a few kilometers out of Delhi, you reach this place called the Arabian Sea, right? And you're like, my God, look at that, it's endless. And then you realize, damn it, there is an Indian Ocean after the Arabian Sea. And then there's a Pacific Ocean, then there's the Atlantic. Where does this end? There are seas, and then there are oceans, and then there are lakes as big as seas. What I'm trying to say is, while there are craft degrees, there are also other orders that further your Masonic knowledge. It doesn't have to end at craft. There is much more out there. But why craft is important, and that is what Rinesh was trying to highlight. It is the foundation of Freemasonry. It talks about the legend of Solomon building his temple. Why building the temple? Why Solomon? Why, the whole thing around that? It is because, and I'm making it very simple, I'm watering it down heavily so that even non-Masons can understand this. When you are building something, figuratively or in reality, you have to involve people from all walks of life, with all kinds of skill set, with all kinds of personalities, with all kinds of nationalities, what have you. Every person who's any person has to be involved in some way or the other. Imagine managing that effort. Everyone is coming to a point which is building that structure, right? So everyone has to have the same communication. Everyone has the same understanding. Everyone should be bought in to achieve that goal. How do you achieve that? If you are the project manager for such a thing, you cannot run with bias. You cannot run with your own vested interests. You have to look out for the greater good, for which you have to go beyond, human follies. You have to go beyond what makes us human. That is someone who is bereft of, logical thinking. And that is where we keep saying that a human has to elevate, going from good men to better, going from the rough ashlar of a child, which is not having knowledge, to reaching a higher state of a smooth ashlar, which is rich with knowledge, right? So again, very watered down version of the whole thing, but just to set the tone that there is a lot more to Freemasonry, and you really will be surprised the kind of legends and stories and workings which is out there. It's an ocean worth drowning in. So with that, Rinesh, let me hand it back to you to expand further on this.
No, you know what, Shishir, I like the last point which you said, drowning in. Now, do I need to drown? Do you think I need to go into that level? No, because that also is a question which many people ask. Why should I be bogged down with these so many orders, right?
Yeah, definitely the other side of the question.
Exactly. That's also the other side of the question. And I
Yeah.
want to answer that first because
Hey folks, I hope you have enjoyed the episode so far. This is the end of part 1 of this multi-part series. So look forward to more updates on the next few episodes. For now, we will be calling it a day, and the other episodes will be set up as premieres. So look forward to our channel. Please like, share and subscribe in the meantime. Alrighty, bye-bye. That's all, folks. We sincerely hope that you liked our episode and got a glimpse into the fascinating world of Freemasonry. If you have any queries about what we have shared on the podcast or about Freemasonry in general, please check out the show notes for links to the Grand Lodge of India's website, or write us an email, which is the Ashlars podcast@gmail.com.